Olá, pessoal, boa noite, tudo bem? Estamos começando aqui a nossa série, nossa última entrevista com o Capitão Nacional dos continentes americanos, e hoje é a vez dos Estados Unidos da América. Estou aqui com Jeffrey Galley, o mais recente capitão dos Estados Unidos. Nossa entrevista vai ser em inglês e, eventualmente, vou traduzir algumas coisas. Dúvidas que vocês tenham, podem ir perguntando ao vivo, que a gente responde aqui para vocês e vai traduzindo ou fazendo perguntas adicionais, ok? Então, vamos lá. Hello, Jeff.
Hello.
It's nice having you here. I was talking to our guys that we are having this conversation, and we are translating some of the things we are talking, and they can make questions, etc. And feel free to talk about it.
Well, allow me to extend our greetings from America to all our brothers and sisters in Brazil, and I hope this is the beginning of a long, fun adventure for us all, and we'll be able to come down to Brazil, and we'll be able to host you up here in the States.
Yeah, we were talking just before we started about a Pan-American tournament, and this is I think it's a dream and a goal for all of us in the whole American continent. So first questions is how you started in HMB, how long you've been practicing, and tell us about Jeffrey Galley in HMB.
Oh, all right. I have been fighting for 27 years, but we had fight in the SCA. We use wooden swords, wooden weapons. It still hurts. I mean, you still have to wear armor.
Yeah.
And then my friends had gone over to HMB in 2012 to Poland, and they because we only use the weapons. There's no punching, no kicking, no throwing, no wrestling. And they came back humbled, and they got. Do you want to translate, or should I go on talking?
I think you can talk a bit more than I translate.
Okay. So they came back from Poland just excited. They had a wonderful time, but the people who went over were very good fighters in our sport, in just our touch. You know, you hit somebody with good power and it counts. That kind of sport, you know, more of a martial art, playing stick tag, we call it, really. But it has to be with power. And then they are not used to getting beat. So they came back and started recruiting everybody who fights in the large battles. Like we have very large battles, hundreds and hundreds, thousands of the side with the wood. Yeah. And bows and arrows and spears. And it's all padded. Yeah. And so they came back and recruited us to get a good U.S. team to head out to France the following year. And that's how my friends came back and said, "You are coming with us."
Let's put these guys in armor and let's fight.
That's right.
Então, o Jeff estava falando que começou há cerca de 27 anos, né, no esporte, e inicialmente eles praticavam com bastões, então eram com porretes, assim, galera, e não podia ter socos nem chutes, então era simplesmente bater com o bastão, mas havia lutas campais, então reunia muita gente, chegavam a usar arco e flecha, eu vou perguntar para ele como que era isso, e também lanças, né? E aí um amigo dele esteve na Polônia, visitou um torneio e viu que tinha a possibilidade de levá-los como um grande time norte-americano para lutar em armaduras. So, Jeff, you said you also fought with bow and arrow and spears. How was that?
It's a different dynamic. I mean, I fight with a two-handed axe or a sword and shield, even in that, but you have to face the spears. So 9-foot spears coming at you and arrows and swords, you're just constantly on the alert, and there's hundreds of people trying to knock you down. So it's pretty exciting. I love it. It's very loud, very, very loud. So it's just a different dynamic, but there's nobody punching you or throwing you to the ground. It's all with weapons. So if you get stuck in the gut with a 9-foot spear, it'll knock the wind out of you, or knock your head back, whatever.
And how it worked with an arrow to not actually kill people?
They are blunted arrows. Or the head has to be 1.25 inches. So your eye slots are 1 inch, and the arrowhead is 1.25 inches. So it'll stop. But there are ballistas and catapults And some of them, I've had my legs knocked out from under me with a good ballista hit while I was running. Yeah, there's all kinds of, a lot more of assortment of weaponry.
Okay.
And throwing axes, you know,
wow.
You could throw things too. So
That's crazy. Let me talk to the guys about that. Ele falou, né, que esses torneios tinham, né, tem ainda, né, essas são verdadeiros batalhas campais, que tem arco e flecha, e aí como o buraco do olho tem cerca de 1 polegada, então 1 polegada e 1/4 a ponta da flecha é arredondada, né, para evitar. Então, se caso acerte o olho, ela só vai deixar um olho roxo, aquele the panda eye, but not killing anyone with an arrow. Vai deixar um olhinho de panda, mas sem matar ninguém. So HMB was an easy adjustment for you after that.
We still didn't quite know what to do. You know, we all came from different backgrounds, and we tried to. There's a lot of learning and development, especially on my team, because my team, Ursus, back then was the #1 team in the U.S. because we had all been fighting together side by side for 20 years. Right. And so we grew the sport from there, and they're all retired. I'm the only one left. So it was a lot of learning. We didn't understand the wrestling very well into armor. In our sport, you never attack someone from behind. You never, you know, you always saluted them before you engaged them. So that was hard to get used to. The speed of, you know, and you can be hit from any angle. That was a real adjustment. It was a really hard adjustment. But it was so exciting to be able to. We went to France. Many of us road tripped around France and fought at castles, and then came down to the World Championship. And then it was just the excitement of it, all the countries and hearing all the languages and people screaming. There's nothing like hearing the Danish yelling. I mean, it just curdles your blood with excitement, and the Germans and the Spanish and the Russians, everyone. And so it's just such an exciting time in a real medieval tournament in front of the castle walls. That first tournament I had gone to was in a walled city in France. And so the romance of it, the intensity of it, nobody was sure exactly what was going to happen. And it was a blast. We were hooked. We loved it immediately.
At that time, USA already had a team with 30 guys. I think it was 21 at that time, right?
Something like that. Yeah. And then when we went to France, we had a full team, 50-man team.
Wow. So
we built it quick. It was, I think 140 people tried out for the team. 40 got on it, and we still didn't know really what we were doing, strategy or anything, but we had a great time. We did very well, I thought, for our second time, and many of our first fight ever. And everyone had a wonderful time, and they enjoyed the other teams. And the intensity of it, like I had not been, our shoulders were smashed so much by the Russian halberdiers. Yeah, we couldn't wash our hair, couldn't lift our arms up.
At that time, it was 2013, I think, in France.
2012. Oh, yeah, 2013 for France, yes.
And I had a question, but I just missed. I'm just translating that, and we get back. Então ele comentou, né, sobre como foi. I remember, just because it will complement my translation about that. People from the whole U.S. was reunited in that team.
That's right.
Mostly a region like California or no?
There were all of us came from the Ursus was huge. It was went from Northern California to San Diego. So what was Ursus is now Ordo Draconis, Iron Phoenix, Gauntlet and Rose. Now they're separating all these different teams now. But yeah, there was a significant number from the East Coast and Chicago area, Illinois, and California. Those were the biggest suppliers of fighters. And Washington. A little bit from Washington at the time.
DC, you mean, or
No, state.
Washington. Okay. I think Avaloc is from Washington, right?
That's right. Yeah, Seattle area.
Okay. Yeah.
Havelock and I have known each other for 27 years and have fought against each other for all those years.
Yeah, he's a great fellow. Então, a primeira vez que ele foi, né, e com esse time todo, assim, cerca de 50 lutadores, foi no torneio da França, em 2013. E aí aquela loucura de encontrar várias nações e lutadores do mundo inteiro gritando, uma coisa arrepiante, né? Ele falou, não tem como esquecer a gritaria dos dinamarqueses, dos alemães, dos franceses, italianos e toda aquela reunião que é o Battle of the Nations, que hoje tem cerca de 40 países participando, então é uma coisa fantástica. E a maioria dos lutadores dos Estados Unidos vinham dessas regiões, Califórnia, Washington, Illinois, Chicago, e compuseram a maior parte dos times, parte do time. E New York?
New York, New Jersey, East Coast as well, heavy on the East Coast too.
Tá, tinha bastante gente da costa leste também. Caramba, o que eu ia falar? Bom, enfim, tinha cerca de 50 lutadores, né? E foi uma experiência muito bacana. Ele tá lutando aí há 27 anos e conhece, inclusive, o capitão anterior dos Estados Unidos, que era o Havelock, uma figura muito tradicional do HMB, e eles se conhecem há esse tempo todo. So you have a long friendship with Havelock, and how was succeeding him on the captain post of USA?
It's interesting. Havelock has we've been good friends for a long time. He's a very honorable man. We have very different ways of looking at things, and so it's interesting. I'll say that. And I'm captain right now, but with COVID going on, we got so shut down. We haven't been able to do much. So hopefully, we're really going to take the ground running when they let us out. Many teams are just practicing on the sly. And then a lot of the countries opened up. They're fighting all the time. In fact, we're going to have to go to another state to be able to practice and fight. And then Brad Shivey's my co-captain now. So it's a different approach. Havelock's there and he works tirelessly to make sure everybody's fed and housed and has their armor, everything. I'm not that guy. I'll be there on the field with you, and I'll do what I can, but I much more want autonomy with the teams. Like they can take care of their stuff. So that'll be a significant difference. I do not have the energy Havelock has. It is inexhaustible. I don't know how he does it.
Unexpendable. I met Havelock in California in a tournament that was organized by Mark Jackson, also a great guy. I think Gauntlet and Rose team.
That's right.
Yeah, I've been there. Havelock made me a promise that would bring a team to South America. So I think that now you have to fulfill this.
Okay, hey, we would love to. I finally. So we have 2 Spanish speakers. We have no Portuguese speaking people on the team.
There's no problem.
We've been to Mexico and fought there. So we would love to go down south. Absolutely. Yeah. And in fact, Mark's bringing his team over to Ursus this weekend for a training. We have to do it, in secret, hide in the park or something.
Yeah. We do the same. Secret meetings.
Good.
It's the secret armored society, something like that. Please send my best regards to Mark.
I will. Absolutely.
He's a lovely guy.
He really is.
Yeah, we have a Brazilian fighter from our team, Vitor, which is training with Ordo Draconis, or at least was training with Ordo Draconis before that pandemic started. But he lives in California, so he's there for practicing with you and fighting with you, and representing Brazil in the US.
Right on. Ordo's a great team, and they have a wonderful captain. I've known Makoto for over 20 years as well, fighting against him. We all came from the same stick fighting thing.
Just let me pass it to Portuguese. Perguntamos assim sobre como foi, né, substituir o Havelock. Ele tem essa amizade grande como capitão dos Estados Unidos. E o Havelock é essa pessoa cheia de energia, alguém que você olha e você fala, eu quero que esse cara seja o capitão do meu time. Porque ele faz tudo pelo time, ele hospeda as pessoas, ele corre atrás, ele vai atrás de irregularidades, ele pergunta... Eu como Marshall, o Avalock já perguntou para mim uma cena que aconteceu com um lutador da Bielorrússia que chegou a agredir um lutador americano, e eu tava lá, eu vi, ele falou, você viu, a gente tem isso na câmera, você vai lá, vai falar comigo. Ele é um cara muito participativo, uma energia interminável, e que o Jeff é uma pessoa diferente, mas que vai estar lá pelo pessoal também, mas é incomparável a situação a postura do Avalock, que é uma pessoa incrível. E que eles já tiveram também no México, tem cerca de 2 lutadores lá que falam espanhol, e que eles adorariam vir para o Brasil e para o Sul como um todo, que é uma promessa que o Avalock chegou a me fazer na Califórnia, num torneio que eu tive arbitrando, organizado pelo Mark Jackson, e espero que ele consiga cumprir. I was telling the guys about that situation with a Belarus fight in USA in Santa Severa, and I remember Avalock because me and my wife and Mona Lisa, we just saw Avalock for the first time and we said, that's the captain I would like for my team, because he's so energetic about everything. And I was there as a marshal, and I saw that aggression, because it was an aggression. And I remember Avalock, he just came to me, you saw that, you can talk because we have it in video, we have it on video, and we're going to show that, you saw that, you also saw that, so we are making an appeal. He was just so, he was like a Nora, not just like a man, but a Nora that was trying to protect and do everything for his fighters. He was a great person and a lovely guy. Yeah. It was very nice camping with Dan in that California tournament.
Yes.
I could participate, which Vitaly Makarian was Night Marshal. So now, despite the pandemic, what are the challenges you see for HMB in the USA country as an institution, as a sport, as a team, etc.? What are the most challenges?
So, as you probably know, there's 3 different organizations that fight in the USA.
Yeah.
The ACS, ACW, and HMB, and we're almost all independent clubs. And the ACW back then, or the ACL, wouldn't let you. The reason why we left is because they wouldn't let us fight in the HMB. And so we all said bye, and we left, and we became independent clubs. I don't know what the status is now about them fighting. I think it's okay for them to. So as captain, when we hold our nationals, because we're only going to be able to hold 1 nationals, we're talking to everybody in the country, no matter where you hail from, is invited to our practices and our tournaments, as long as you have the insurance. And then at the nationals, so we will truly represent the United States. Even if you don't have a club, if you come and you win a place at nationals, it does not matter. That's your place to represent the country for HMB, for our HMB team. We keep it very simple. There's no nepotism, no favorites here. It's whoever is going to represent the country and with honor and integrity in a knightly manner, and you have the martial skill to win, you got to go. It's pretty simple.
As a clear institution.
I'm sorry?
As a clear institution, transparent and...
Absolutely. And we have large multi... but essentially when we have a training event, wherever it happens to be, if it's a PK down in North Carolina, everyone's invited. Everyone can come. We really want to engender the spirit, like we're all in this together. We're all we have shared the passion. Let's stop fighting against each other and know, hey, go do what you want to do. We'll do what we want to do. Most of us want to compete with the best fighters in the world, and that's in the HMB, without question. Even though a lot of guys will do other tournaments, that's fine. But when it comes down to it, if you want the greatest challenge, there's only one place to go. So we have that on our side. So it's Brad Blackman, the vice president of HMB USA, is we're talking about making a gym down in Vegas. We've got training all over the country. And we'll start growing as soon as COVID releases. We'll start having we'll announce our nationals, and anytime we can get tournaments going. We're trying to get Bohurt League. It's very difficult for us, just the size of the country and the cost of everything here. People think everyone in America are rich, and it's not true. And it's very difficult to get around when it's, 30 hours or 36 hours. What am I saying? If you drove nonstop, you might be able to do it.
Yeah.
So our closest team is 4 hours away. Ordo Draconis is 9 hours away.
Wow. In the same state.
I'm sorry?
And yet it is in the same state.
And still in the state. Iron Phoenix is 14 hours away. It's, that's driving. It's just very difficult. So we hope to build more teams locally for everybody so they can at least. I'm constantly amazed America does as well as it does when we don't get to fight anyone. Like they have in Europe, you must see this. In Europe, they have tournaments every weekend. We fight once or twice a year at a tournament.
Yeah. Yeah, we have same difficulty in Brazil, and it's a huge country, and most teams are far from each other. Of course, in São Paulo, we're now having like 4 or 5 teams. Perhaps we can make more constant tournaments together because it's the same city. But good teams are in São Paulo, in the south, or in Brasilia. And it's 1,000 kilometers, sometimes more. So it's not easy to travel. It's not easy because it's not just traveling. It's about staying, finding accommodation, find food for that, and leave your job sometimes 2 or 3 weeks, 2 or 3 days for that. And it's difficult for anyone. And I see it's not a sport for you have to purchase an armor, so it already starts money from you to begin to practice the sport. So I think that everyone is in kind of the same condition, the same economical conditions in each country. Of course, each country has its own reality. It's okay, but of course as well, prices are the same. So traveling is so expensive for me as it is for you in the US, independently of how much is our income in a dollar amount. We have our own economy, and it costs the same thing to travel, to purchase an armor, to miss your job for 2 or 3 days to fight. So it's the same difficulties we find in the whole world, and it's a reality in our sport.
I think that the distance we suffer, Brazil and the US and a few other places suffer a little bit more. If you were in Europe, you could be traveling across Europe is less than traveling from the top of California to the bottom, or the top of Brazil to the bottom. So they can go to tournaments all over. That's the one advantage. But we'll stop crying, and we will start, and we'll build more teams locally, and we'll be able to overcome it eventually.
I think we must work on regions, developing regions that have potential to become like it was a huge HMB country.
We have teams near us that were ACL, but they weren't allowed to train with us or fight with us.
That's absurd.
So we're trying to break those barriers down, but they still haven't been broken down. We'll see what happens.
You know that we had a tournament in São Paulo. It was São Paulo Cup. It was the 2nd edition, and we have the purpose to make it in a very well-known stadium or gymnasium that is usually it's used to play soccer. So our main idea is to take the sport to a place where everybody knows as a sport venue. You know?
Yeah.
And we with that we got a History Channel live cover with stream for the whole tournament, but it was a serious legal problem involving ACL and History Channel, even in South America. So I don't know the guys in ACL, and I don't want to criticize them, but it's the level of exclusivity that is not functionable.
They want
not even.
Yeah, that's why they left. They want, the leadership wants it to be about them. When they did the ACL show, the Knights show, they asked for video interviews of all the fighters in the U.S. Well, everyone sent it in because we didn't know the ACL was running it. And then, of course, they chose ACL guys and claimed that they were the best fighters in the world. Yeah. Well, it's just not true. I love them. Many of them are my good friends, and I respect them greatly. But that's just false. And why can't we all work together in this? If you have the idea that you're only going to make money for your guys and yourself, well, then it's bound to be corrupted and not fair, not good for the sport as a whole. So that's why I really want to stay away from that and invite everybody to this. And so there's no, favoritism, or you're not blocking people out. I have a few guys on my team that came earlier before ACL broke up again. So now it's again. The ACW. And I had a few guys on my team that fought in the ACL as well, but then they couldn't be on the national team. They couldn't be in promotional stuff. They got punished for being trained by me because people would come to have me train them. It's sad, and I hope it changes, but like you experienced, I don't have great hope that it changes. But hopefully we offer something that everybody wants to come and do, and we'll just get more fighters, and they can do their thing. That's fine. I get it. It's hard to run things. It's just not the way I look at it.
Sometimes when one cannot change, the world changes, and this one stays behind, or it happens. You have to adjust. Yeah. And it took me a long. I work at the court, and it took me a hard legal work to make it happen, to have History Channel covering our tournament. It was like 3 full days working on that legal contract and etc. But no, it worked. It worked somehow, and it was fine for everyone. And also we believe that in that free spirit of participating and getting people together. If you want to start a new brand, okay, it's you're up to it, but don't block people, because it's also it's a small community yet, and we cannot give us this situation to block people, because this way we don't grow.
Yeah,
just let me talk some translation to the guys. We talked a lot, and I don't remember most things we talked, but I'll try to.
Need notes, I guess. Okay.
A gente falou sobre as ligas nos Estados Unidos, né? Que lá eles têm cerca de 3 ligas. A ACL foi a mais complicada, porque ela tinha uma certa regra de exclusividade que proibia os lutadores que eram da ACL, afiliados da ACL, de participarem em outros torneios, até mesmo de treinar. Teve lutadores que foram treinar com o Jeff e foram punidos por causa disso. Então, chegava a esse absurdo. E era uma instituição tão exclusivista, assim, que causou problemas até mesmo aqui, porque a gente teve um torneio na Copa São Paulo, na segunda edição, que o nosso objetivo com a Copa São Paulo é levar para locais de esporte já renomados, para que as pessoas que procuram esporte vejam o HMB como esporte. E, enfim, a gente conseguiu a transmissão da History Channel e teve problemas que envolviam os contratos que a History tinha com a ACL lá nos Estados Unidos. E isso tomou da gente vários dias de dedicação e estudo ali da legislação, do contrato, de como fazer a exibição das imagens, para não ferir o contrato que eles tinham lá. Mas, felizmente, esse tipo de atitude acaba se esgotando, né? E a ACL já rompeu uma vez, e agora rompeu pela segunda vez, e é um grupo de pessoas que acaba ficando sozinho, né? Claro que a HMB tem um rigor quanto ao seu branding, mas ela não impede lutadores de participar em outros torneios, né? Não tem nenhuma punição com relação a isso, mas é claro que quando você fala de seriedade, historicidade e de uma comunidade mais interativa, você está falando de HMB, e é isso que você encontra na HMB, tanto na Liga Nacional, como nos times que representam e lutam o HMB no Brasil, e a mesma forma isso acontece nos Estados Unidos. Então, com a HMB o negócio é mais sério e tende a ser mais profissional. E é claro, tem restrição para os marshals, né? O caso que o marshal, como um profissional da HMB, que, por exemplo, é o meu caso, não posso atuar arbitrando em um torneio de outra instituição, porque entra numa questão mais corporativa do que de um atleta, essencialmente falando. I was just complementing the situation about marshals, that HMBIA marshals cannot marshal all the tournaments because it's more like a corporative situation. But fighters, we encourage fighters to participate in any tournament they can because they can get more experience. But of course, if they want something serious and historical and more accurate, and also a very lovely community and family, they'll find it in HMB. I've been visiting USA in last December before going to General Assembly in Riga, where we met, by the way. And I could talk to some guys from HMB in New York. I just had like 8 hours in New York, and all of them, they tried the most to get someone to just meet me and talk to me and then present me the city. So it was so lovely that what I see and what I always talk about is that HMB is a community. Sometimes you don't know some person, but when you meet this person at an HMB tournament, it's like you just knew him or her from a long time ago, because you just feel like family, and it's fantastic about our community. So you said that you also train people. So how is that? You prepare people for HMB. What's your specialty? You fight halberd, I heard, or duels, or buhurt. What is the best nomination for Jeffrey Galley, and how do you train people? What are some of your secrets as a teacher?
I think my primary job, I'm 53 now, or will be in a month.
It doesn't look like.
So there's a lot. When I was a young man, I was indestructible, very fast. I could do almost anything. But as you get older and I've been injured so many times that there's a lot you have to adapt to, right? There's a lot of internal challenges. And as I'm teaching my new kids, I put that in foremost in my mind, that it's your mind. It's their minds that I want to influence more than anything. It's their spirit I want to bring out to the fore. It's their confidence. To see somebody come in and they have no real, or a lack of confidence in the physical realm, in the realm of will. My job is to engender those things. There's nothing more gratifying to me than seeing somebody walk tall and feel strong and never cower. No matter what the odds are, you're never afraid. You do the best you can, as a knight should. I had a young woman who's now one of the best female fighters in America. She always makes American team. And she spent the first 2 years crying every practice. And it was not yelling at her, nothing like that, but the intensity of it, to get someone to face their own fears and become stronger spiritually and in confidence. If you can do that, a human can do anything.
Yeah. And then what you learn goes beyond the sport. It goes right. for life.
Yeah.
Nice. Perguntamos sobre os treinos, né? Ele disse que o principal é preparar o espírito, né? A mentalidade da pessoa para encarar qualquer problema, né? Para algo que ela vai levar não só para o esporte, mas para a vida mesmo, né? E isso para ele é o essencial, de você enfrentar as coisas como um cavaleiro, né? Sem medo e encarar qualquer problema, não importa as adversidades, e se transformar, né? E acreditar em si mesmo. Esse é o principal para ele num treinamento e num sistema de treino de HMB. Let's open for some questions from our audience. And Ernesto, our silver boy, is sending the questions. Have you ever fought with Brazilian team? I don't think so.
No.
Not yet.
I didn't fight. We had a tragedy in the family last year, a death in the family, so I couldn't make the World Champions ship last year. So no, I haven't been able to. I look forward to it.
Let's hope soon enough. We have more questions. Jordan is asking when USA team is coming to Brazil so we can fight each other.
Send us an invitation, and I'll see what we can do. You want and And if we send it to HMB USA, and we can send the invitation across to all the teams, so whoever can make it down will make it down. I know my team would love to go.
Nice. I will send you an invitation for the next São Paulo Cup.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. And we'll just send it to HMB USA. And like I said, we'll send it across the United States.
Of course. Então, a primeira pergunta, se ele já lutou com algum lutador brasileiro. Ainda não. Ano passado, ele não pôde comparecer, né, ao torneio internacional. Mas também acho que não teve uma luta entre Estados Unidos e Brasil. As I remember, there was not a fight between Brazil and USA in Battle of the Nations yet. Even duels and bullshit, I don't remember any. Eu acho que não teve nenhuma luta mesmo entre Brasil e Estados Unidos ainda. E para ele vir para os torneios, Jordan, só convidar. Então vamos convidar, eles vão mandar o convite para a HMBA Estados Unidos, e aí vão para todos os times de lá. E quiçá algum time consegue vir. Então, se a gente tem mais pergunta, pode ir mandando aí. He's asking, now, today you are captain, but what took you to start fighting? And thinking about, one day I'm wearing steel armor and many punches, and that's what I want. So what took you to the situation where I want to fight and I want to be a knight, or I want to fight in a armor tournament?
Honestly, I've been a fighter since I was a little boy. So, if there were bullies or something, I'd be fighting. In fact,
you're born fighter.
How I became a fighter is my friend Gideon. I was 25 years old or something, and my friend, I heard a Harley Davidson motorcycle, brum brum, pull up on my front lawn, and my friend Gideon, I knew when I was a little boy. And through high school, came up on my front lawn, and he had started sword fighting. And he said, "You have to come and do this thing with me, armored fighting."
5 years old.
No. I mean, I've known him since we met when I think I was 12.
Of course. Okay.
And so I'm 25 years old.
All right.
He comes up on his motorcycle and says, "You have to come and do this with me." And I went over to his house. He put me in armor, and we fought till 1 o'clock in the morning under the stars. And I loved it. I was just insane for it. I wanted it so bad, and I never stopped fighting since then. But he said, He said, ever since we were little kids, I wanted to fight with you by my side, because apparently some big kids were picking on him, and I came out of the blue and was helping him. And I don't even remember that happening, but that's how I started fighting. I've always loved it. I loved reading Three Musketeers, sword fighting, of course, King Arthur. Like most of us, you read the trilogy, The Lord of the Rings, whatever.
Yeah. And most of us started with Braveheart, I think.
Braveheart, yeah, absolutely, yeah. I started before. Yeah, that's right. Braveheart. Yeah.
Braveheart and Highlander, I think, are the.
Sure, but and you were talking about training. Do you want to hear about like my training methods as well, or does that matter?
Yeah, I think so. I would like to know about it.
Okay. Do you want to translate what we just did, or go right into it?
Yeah. Então, ele sempre... É uma coisa que ele não lembrava, porque ele tinha uma amizade de infância com um amigo dele, o Gideon, e algumas brigas de escola e tudo mais, ele sempre aparecia do nada para ajudá-lo, né? E aí quando ele tinha... E eles são amigos desde os 12 anos de idade. Aí quando ele tinha 25 anos, esse Gideon chegou lá com a moto, né? E simplesmente parou e falou assim, ó, é o seguinte, você vai ter que vir lutar comigo, eu vou te colocar numa armadura e a gente vai começar a treinar. Ele tinha 25 anos, e aí foram, né, vestiram a armadura, foram lutar, descer a porrada no outro, assim, mais amigos, né? E sob as estrelas, ele falou que aquele dia nunca esqueceu, e foi dali em diante que ele começou a lutar, mas ele se vê como um lutador, assim, desde muito jovem, desde o início da vida, né? Hoje está com 52, então há 27 anos aí já praticando. So, let's first just talk, we have like three questions more, and after that we talk about training and systems, etc. So, what tips you have for beginners?
Good armor.
Yeah.
Good armor. Your health. To be in shape. Start from the beginning. Enjoy the process. Everybody wants, all the young men and women that come to me for training, they almost all want to know how to kick someone's ass the first day. They're always looking for that brass ring. I said, no, start with your breath. Learn how to breathe. Learn how to keep your mind calm, right? Always take these things. That's absolutely utmost, right? When you're fighting. If you don't learn those, you're going to struggle your entire time, right? So start with the most basic understanding, right? Your balance. If you don't have the balance, make your body strong, right? Find your center. That's the main thing I teach, is to be able to find your body center, right? Because that's where power is from. I had a reputation here for being extreme, for hitting people very hard. Like, I did not want to use a pole arm, and I use the lightest pole arm I can, and I do not hit people for full force, because of my sensei, my master, was a judo master, and he taught me how to deliver an enormous amount of force. So all about mechanics, understand how not to hurt yourself, right? You have other people trying to hurt you. Don't hurt yourself. You know what I mean? Like grabbing a sword so strong with your fist that you ruin your arm and your shoulder. It's proper mechanics to deliver a good blow. Understand, aspects of judo. Understand how your body functions. I'm sure in Brazil, I know that you have a great tradition in the martial arts.
Yeah.
Find those people, learn from those people, and let them find your center. Number one, understand how to make your body style the most powerful it can be. Understand how to bring that power from your center into the tip of that sword or the head of that axe at the right moment in time to make it fast for speed, so you're not wasting a bunch of energy. You're not destroying your own body. Yes. Is that a good answer there?
Yeah, I believe it was one of the best answers I've ever heard.
and nutrition. And nutrition's overlooked so much. It's extraordinary to me. I go to these other, like I said, my team are almost all new guys, and it's going to be interesting to see how they do against some of the best teams in the country in a month. Because I teach in my gym, it's very much a martial art, and that's how I teach. And then from there, they move out. I said, you have to learn. I teach them the katas I want them to learn. They have to understand fully their body, how your small toe of your left foot does not do anything that the pinky on your right hand doesn't want it to do. Everything's an agreement, right? So there's a very complex, look at it as a martial art, because that's what it is. It is the ultimate martial art, shy of actually killing each other. We can do everything, right? That's why a lot of martial arts, they make you stop. They make you just touch. There's nothing, you're always bound by all these rules. Whereas on ours, I mean, it's pretty intense, and so you can utilize all those. So understand your body fully. Okay.
Ok. Bom, algumas respostas, né? Mas primeiro, armadura, lógico, porque uma armadura te mantém seguro, né? Então, ele diz que a primeira coisa que as pessoas chegam na academia dele é pergunta: como que eu desço a porrada em alguém? Mas a primeira coisa, na verdade, é como não se machucar, né? Como não se lesionar. E isso começa com uma boa armadura. E uma armadura autêntica, porque isso vai te colocar dentro do esporte. E também não vai se lesionar, né? Just let me add something about it, because a bad armor also is provoking injuries you don't want in your body. So muscles and activities you cannot.
Don't train with heavy weapons until you know how to fight, or at least have a rudimentary idea. A lot of young men, especially, I just want to get in there and beat someone into the ground. Their careers will be short. They will not have the skills. Use foam swords, use wooden swords, then move up to steel. And you can practice all day long with weighted wooden swords without destroying armor, without putting someone's eye out. So do that. Understand how to do that. You'll be able to fight a lot more and learn a lot more. before you engage in the actual full combat.
Don't start running with helmet or practicing yoga with armor. Mas é mais ou menos isso. Você, a maioria há um tempo, né, nós tínhamos muito essa questão de assim, eu corro com armadura, se eu correr com armadura, se eu subir escada com armadura, eu vou ficar bom, vou ficar forte, eu vou fazer yoga com armadura, e não, né? A armadura, o aço, ela tem de vir depois, né? Porque o seu corpo ele tem de estar pronto para isso. Então, a coisa, além da armadura, que ele falou, a coisa mais importante é o seu centro de gravidade, o seu balanço, o seu equilíbrio. Né? Como ele disse, não tem nada que o seu dedão direito vai fazer, o seu mindinho esquerdo, porque tudo isso está numa mecânica de movimento que você vai aprender com artes marciais que estão aí para te auxiliar. E a gente mesmo tem um background muito grande de arte marcial, essencialmente judô, o próprio jiu-jitsu, que tem toda essa mecânica corporal que são essenciais para que você consiga praticar um bom golpe, se manter equilibrado, se manter numa postura que a armadura não vai te machucar, né? Usar uma armadura errada, usar uma armadura errada e usar uma armadura errado, ou seja, erradamente, são duas coisas que vão te machucar. Então, e a mesma coisa com armas. Uma espada longa, ela é pesada. Então, antes de você ter o preparo e a mecânica certa para aplicar um golpe, de aprender com pessoas que sabem como fazer isso, pessoas que já viram gente se lesionar praticando errado, é muito importante você começar com bastões, com arma soft, para então ir para o aço, para então ir para uma armadura e saber como não se lesionar, porque isso é essencial. Se você não se machuca, você já está um passo à frente de muitos lutadores. E ele é um dos lutadores que mais bate forte nos Estados Unidos. E ele nem queria usar uma alabarda, por exemplo, mas essa questão da mecânica corporal de um golpe é essencial. Né? E para ele as duas dicas básicas aí para quem está começando: uma boa armadura e conhecer o seu corpo, e obviamente também a nutrição, porque uma boa alimentação vai te deixar mais saudável em condições de executar tudo que seu corpo, como uma máquina que pode fazer. So I was talking about how the body is a machine, and that's pretty much you were saying. So we have a few more questions. So what is more important to reach results and growth in this sport in your vision? And taking the chance. Nice to meet you, Jeffrey. It's a question from Marcus Ferrari. He's a strongman athlete. He's the strongest man in Brazil, and even in South America. He reached the position of the 7th strongest man in the world, as I know. And he works a lot with Arnold in South America, and is a very, very good athlete. He's a real athlete in the sense of the word. So these are his questions. Depois de novo as questões dele.
First is, if you tell everyone the very good questions, and I thank you for asking them.
Yeah.
So what his question was, how best to grow the sport?
Yeah, I was just asking to put the question again because I missed that. Yeah, to grow for the athlete growth. So to grow as a fighter and to reach a high level performance and results.
So much the same as my other answer for a new fighter is to learn from everyone you can. Do not rely on your strength. So I have I'm not a very big guy, but I've played sports my whole life against large men. Like that gentleman, he'd probably just squeeze me until I popped. Do not rely on your strengths. If you are a strong man, do not use your muscles, right? Start to understand the spirit of speed. Start to understand timing, right? And there are thousands of different exercises you can do to achieve this, right? Try to understand your center. Like I've been in positions where huge men are on me, and I can knock them down by focusing your chi into one small space of, time and power in one small space. So you look at Bruce Lee, was 145 pounds, right? He understood these things. Understand to leave, especially if you're a strong man. That's a big hindrance to a lot of men's training. They want to hit the weights because you can be very successful just being a strong man. A lot of things won't work on you just for the sheer force you have. But as a strong man, understand your center. And I'm sure if he's a powerlifting, one of the strongest men in the world, he has a great understanding of his center.
Indeed.
Am I going too far and too fast?
No, okay. It's okay.
Okay, if you can tell him these things. So if you're too strong, I never let my strong guys use their strength. They will get exhausted. You have so much muscle, it will consume oxygen, right? And you have to keep fighting and fight the next day and the next day. So I want you to relax, use the proper mechanics for a throw, for a blow. It's all coming from your center, not your shoulder, not your arm. And then in case of emergency, use your muscles and trust somebody.
Yeah, I've seen many manuals from HMB, IA, and all of them talk about the center of gravity of your own body and balance. So let me translate that. Falou assim, a primeira coisa como um strongman, como um homem dos músculos, é não acredite nos seus músculos, né? Já que você tem esse potencial, sem dúvida, algo que vai fazer diferença, né? Mas não acredite só nisso. Então, desenvolva as outras habilidades que têm a ver com o seu equilíbrio, com a velocidade e com a estamina. Porque, com certeza, um número elevado de músculos vai requerer um número altíssimo de oxigênio. E isso vai te consumir dentro da armadura. Então, quando você está falando de torneios de 1, 2, 3, 4 dias, o seu rendimento pode cair muito se você consome muito essa força, né? Então, essencialmente, acreditar que os golpes mais fortes não vão vir dos músculos, mas do movimento que é causado por usar corretamente o seu centro de gravidade e a mecânica corporal. Então, a velocidade, o centro de equilíbrio e a estamina seriam as dicas que ele daria para atingir o mais alto nível no esporte. Ele não é um cara forte e é um dos melhores lutadores, e o Bruce Lee era extremamente leve, e todos nós sabemos que era um grande lutador. Então, usar, em caso de necessidade, em caso de urgência, aí sim, usar todos os seus músculos e toda a sua força. E claro que ele comentou que você, como uma pessoa que sabe levantar pesos, sabe muito bem a importância da postura e do equilíbrio, e eu confirmei, né? Levantar um peso errado, acabou a coluna, acabou sua carreira. Então, isso é importante também no HMB. I was telling him that as a powerlifting guy, one of the most successful in Brazil with that, he also knows that about the right position to lift a weight. If you don't do it right, you never lifting, not even a market bag again. So
that's right.
He knows that very well, and it's also important for HMB as the center of gravity and the mechanic of the mechanic is the power of an attack, of a blow. So
as to that, if you want to add for the new fighters and for him, anyone, if you cannot do it slow, you cannot do it fast.
Se você não consegue fazer devagar, você não consegue fazer rápido, né?
Like that, perfectly, with no hitch, nothing battling anything else in your body. If you cannot do that, you can't do it fast. You're lying to yourself. So everybody who wants to go fast, if I could just do it fast, I'd beat you. If I was just this, I'd beat you. It's not true. So if you want to learn well and learn fast, go very slow.
Otherwise, you are skipping some part of the movement.
You're lying to yourself, is what you're doing.
Ele falou que se você quer fazer um golpe rápido, primeiro você deve aprender a fazê-lo devagar. Do contrário, você está mentindo para si mesmo, acreditando que, claro que a velocidade é importante, mas você não vai chegar na velocidade por si só. A velocidade é um resultado de compreender o processo lento do golpe, do movimento, do ataque, né? E de todo o mecanismo do corpo envolvido nisso. E a partir desse momento, aí sim o seu golpe se torna rápido como uma consequência mecânica do seu movimento. É muito interessante, eu acho que é uma das melhores entrevistas nesse sentido e que acrescenta muito para quem tá acompanhando e para quem tá querendo lutar e treinar. Eu achei muito legal esses comentários. I was telling the guys that this is one of the best interviews we're doing about training and hints for new fighters, and it's also not just for new fighters, but some fighters that are there for a long time and still have to visit this concept of.
It's so important. I train all over different places all over in the country, outside the country. I actually have a 7 commandments for new fighters or for learning how to fight and have a successful time. And I just texted my team to see if somebody will send me a copy because I have none left here. But if someone sends it to me, I will I'll read it. Yeah, very handy, useful, especially for new fighters.
Indeed. Sorry, you would say something?
I was going to say the number one hindrance to learning is your ego. Leave the ego at home. Leave it at home.
Deixar o ego em casa é a dica principal, né? And who do you see as the best warrior, the best fighter in the U.S.?
He's retired. He was he's one of my best friends, Anthony Lynch. He was captain in 2015 in Prague. He was Ursus. I have a great picture of him somewhere. Here, I'll find it. Anthony Lynch. What's that?
What is his name? His Ricard. His name. I missed his name.
Anthony Lynch.
Anthony Lynch. Okay.
Yeah. I'll find a picture of him in here. I have a picture of when we won our first pro fights in Montreal. He's 6'6", judo expert, sword fighter, one of the best sword fighter. He can pick up any weapon and be devastating with it. Try learning against that guy for 20 years. He's so strong. And I remember him hitting me, and all I could see was red. It hurt so much. And then as far as currently, it really changes from day to day. I don't think there's a greatest fighter. There's great fighters and people with enormous talents. There's a great polearm fighter, a great Danax fighter, a great sword and shield fighter. I never like to claim that anyone's the greatest. I believe anyone can be beat on any given day. You just can't think about things like that. So I really don't have an opinion on that. I'm sorry.
Don't worry. But I'm recording Anthony Lynch. Então ele disse que talvez assim, o melhor atleta, o melhor guerreiro tenha sido o Anthony Lynch, que é um cara muito alto, né? E que ele treinou com ele, o cara tinha uma pancada tão forte que quando acertava ele só via estrelas, né? E deve ter sido aí um dos melhores lutadores, embora ele não saiba dizer que exista efetivamente um melhor lutador, porque tem muitos aí no mesmo nível e também divididos em categorias de duelos, e aí acaba tendo o melhor em cada posição, e isso pode mudar dia após dia também. I remember Longsword USA fighter, it's Araya, as I remember. He's a very good longsword fighter. I think it's Arai, his name.
Sam.
Yeah.
Samurai.
Samurai, yeah, the samurai. He's not. I don't know if he's the best longsword fighter in the USA, but he's a good one.
The best longsword fighter in the USA doesn't fight steel. His name is Mark Arundel, Mark Hollingshead. He's unbelievable. I've tried to get him to suit up and come out, but I've never seen anyone who can stand against him.
Wow. Well, yeah. I hope you can bring him.
I'll try to get him out there.
Yeah. Manda mais questões aí, então, Ernesto. Gregorio is a Brazilian polearm fighter, and he's asking if you were fighting polearm in the next Battle of the Nations. And in his opinion, you are the most skillful fighter in polearm, and in the next Battle of the Nations or next tournament, he hopes to fight you.
Oh, that's very kind of you. Thank you for saying that. I stopped. Alexei Nadarov and I stopped at the same time because of the barrier. I do not like the barrier. I like the range coming in and coming out. It really takes away, 80% of the fight. I haven't trained with a polearm in 2 or 3 years, something like that. Sometimes I think about it, man, but with the barrier there, it's just not my thing. I don't enjoy it at all. Yeah. So, but
not as a nomination for you to take as a serious nomination, but perhaps for fun in a tournament you'll be visiting, you can play some halberd, some polearm.
I should pick it up. I train my guys in the gym how to do it, and they're very good. I don't know if I can beat them now. I'd have to start training again. Maybe I should. I just started fighting again 2 weeks ago. I haven't fought in 2 years, so I just started again, and I'll pick up a polearm and see how I do and get loosened up. And I appreciate it. I love polearm. I started fighting polearm many years ago, being told that you could not do well against sword and shield. You can't do well against other styles. But I developed an inside game with it, which translated very well to the steel fighting. I represented the U.S. in Belmonte, Spain, and then again in twice over in Prague, and had a really good time doing it. But again, half of the game was taken away with that barrier. But I will do my best. If you want, I have an online polearm 101 instruction on YouTube. And if anyone wants to ask me any personal questions, you can find me on Facebook, and I answer questions all the time from all over.
Thanks for that. You're too kind. Vou falar, just translating it. Ele falou que desde que tem a barreira, né, na luta de alabarda, que é aquela corrente no meio da lista, para ele perdeu a maior parte da diversão da alabarda, porque para ele modificou demais. E ele treina muitas pessoas, e talvez os alunos dele hoje batam nele, sabe, estaria em condições de lutar assim, mas com certeza num torneio aí para se divertir, lutaria, né, embora não seja a preferência dele. Ele já lutou em Belmonte e também em Praga 2 vezes, né, representando os Estados Unidos em alabarda, mas hoje não é a categoria que ele tem levado mais a sério, embora, como eu disse, ele treine as pessoas para essa categoria. Gregorio was fighting polearm in Argentina in some sort of Pan American tournament, IMCF, I think, and he was the winner. So it would be very nice to, it would be very nice to see you both fighting someday. Let's hope it happens.
Fantastic.
So Ernesto, send us please more questions. We have more questions, I think. How it works? How the qualifiers in US work for Battle of the Nations?
Well, this year, of course, HMB USA is just coming under a new board, and COVID hit, and so all of our plans went away. So this year we're going to have 1 nationals. Everybody in the country. What's that?
This year.
Sorry, and probably in February.
Okay.
We're going to have 1 nationals. Everyone in the country is invited. If you win, you win.
You go.
It's that simple.
Ok. Eles deveriam ter tinha vários planos, tem uma nova diretoria e tudo mais da HMB, a ideia era fazer vários torneios, mas agora vai ser assim, em fevereiro vai ter um torneio, todos estão convidados, e se você for ganhar, tá lá, é isso. Eu acho que é o que vai acabar acontecendo aqui também, né? Inclusive uma boa dica, e fica a dica aí para o nosso capitão nacional. Eu acho até que ele já está pensando mais ou menos algo assim, e eu vou dizer isso pro Jeff, mas eu acho que é a melhor maneira mesmo, com as condições que a Covid trouxe pra gente. We're just thinking the same thing in Brazil. There should be 3 qualifier tournaments, but I believe that we have in 1, if so, but at least 1 we need, even it happens in February.
That's right. We were going to do 3 as well, but there's just no way. You cannot, we can't hope to do that. One thing I would suggest, that I will suggest online, is that if you are since everyone has to come from all over the country, if you have someone in your category to compete against, compete there, and whoever wins, then you guys come, if it's not close, because then you won't waste your time or your money, you know?
Yeah. Uma dica que ele dá é justamente essa. Se você tem um grupo que tem várias pessoas querendo a mesma categoria, tenta fazer com que essa galera lute dentro do seu ambiente regional, e aí o melhor, ou pelo menos 2 melhores, vão para disputar a seletiva nacional. Assim você evita que mais pessoas gastem dinheiro viajando para um torneio que de repente elas não vão se classificar, quando você está falando de uma qualificação, né? I told that, but what happens is that when we have 1 year with no tournament, I think that when we have one tournament, everyone wants to fight. So I think there's going to be 20 people fighting each category.
Absolutely. Hey, Gregorio just sent a message on the screen and say he can call me anytime if he speaks English, because I don't speak Portuguese. I don't know.
Yeah. Let me say that. Ele falou que quem tem dúvidas, assim, quer conversar mais com ele, ele tem um canal de YouTube, inclusive sobre alabarda, fala isso, e manda mensagem no Facebook, desde que seja em inglês, pelo fato de ele não conseguir falar português, e que ele responde, qualquer um, ele adora fazer isso, e vai ser um prazer responder pergunta de todas as pessoas que queiram mandar uma mensagem para ele no Facebook. É um cara muito, muito simpático, às vezes não está conectado porque ele costuma ir para as montanhas, etc., mas ele sempre responde. You told me that you were at the mountains some days ago. You were taking some holiday or vacation, or just a time for yourself, or working. What were you doing?
I was working in the Santa Cruz Mountains, and then I was up at my father's fixing his house.
Right.
And I go to school up there too. I'm changing my career, so I go to school up there as well.
All right.
In the Sierras.
Let us check the next 3 questions. We already have 1 hour. You know how many teams we have in USA? You don't have to know the exact number, perhaps an idea.
I don't know. I'd say in the 20s, something like that. Could be more. It depends on who signs up with HMB. You know, who's going to come and compete. We generally, HMB is very small in the we've only had maybe 5 or 6 teams that compete and go out there because of all the breakups, you know, ACL, ACS, HMB, breakup. And so it's just been really a tight group of friends, even though it's San Diego. It's mostly been San Diego, Washington, you know, in Central California. And then some guys from Chicago, you know, others spread out here and there, some from New York, but it's mostly been the same guys since the split ups. But this year, it's going to be teams from all over the country competing.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
I hope I can visit you.
Good answer, but we will have a good answer for that in about a month or 2.
Don't worry.
All the teams will register for the nationals.
I hope I have my vacations in February so I can visit you for this qualifier tournament.
I think it should be on the East Coast, North Carolina.
You think it's happening in North Carolina?
Yeah.
It's where Lawrence lives, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Ok. Então ele acha que tem cerca de 20 times, mas assim, sérios mesmo, e especialmente depois de todas as associações formarem, quebrarem, como a ACL, ACS, HMB e tudo mais, tem aí firmes mesmo 5 ou 6 times. Mas a resposta mesmo ele deve saber mais para frente, assim, por volta de perto das seletivas, e ele acredita que muita gente vai comparecer aí para as seletivas nacionais também. Vamos para as próximas 2 perguntas para a gente começar a encerrar? Strongman is asking if you use some strongman techniques for your practice of strength and explosion.
I don't know, because I don't know what strongman techniques are. I was taught, again, my teacher, Paul Porter, he was a judo master. And he had me understand my center and how to get all my power, all from, you know, right here, all my power into my weapon with the proper mechanics. So as far as that explosion and like I teach my team, you can put your hand stand flat-footed and put your hand against someone's chest and all that power, bring all your power into this point, into them, or a fist, into your opponent without moving yourself backwards, without leaving anything left in your body, and send them across the room. That's the kind of explosive power I do teach. So I'm sorry, I don't know.
Yeah, if you use some strongman technique, you just don't know if you do.
Yeah, it's mostly how to bring all of your body into alignment to one purpose. So I would assume that strongmen do the same thing. Like
Perhaps.
everything in their body has to work together. And as far as working out with weights and such, I do tell my team, focus on your legs and your ass. That's where power is, and your core. Yeah.
Of course.
So sorry, I don't know enough about strongman techniques to answer the question.
Ele disse que se ele usa uma técnica de Strongman, ele não sabe, mas ele acredita que essa questão da explosão talvez exista no Strongman também. Inclusive, Ferrari, se for, você pode confirmar. Ele, basicamente, a questão de trazer toda a energia para um movimento, né? Então, é uma coisa que ele costuma fazer com os alunos na academia dele, é colocar a mão no peito da outra pessoa e empurrá-la, né, com toda a energia do seu corpo, como um movimento completo que vem do seu centro de gravidade, a ponto de você não se mexer e ainda assim não sofrer nenhuma turbulência, vamos dizer assim, e ainda assim conseguir empurrar a pessoa para o outro canto da sala, né, ou o máximo que você conseguir. E essa questão de você trazer toda a sua energia do seu corpo, né, como ele fala, das suas pernas e da sua bunda, né, para aquele centro de explosão, talvez isso exista no Strongman, mas ele não tem certeza, então ele não conseguiria responder essa pergunta com exatidão. We have like two questions, I think. As a teacher and as an instructor, how do you would advise someone, a beginner, to practice to achieve a daily practice and prepare his body to finally wear an armor?
I have a series of katas. One very important that they to do every single night. Even 5-10 minutes. And if they achieve that to perfection, they can wear the armor. Because ultimately, you have to be balanced completely in your center at all times. And a lot of people will stick their ass out, their head down. They don't know how to be balanced. They don't know how to move in balance. So I do have a series of katas. Maybe I should put them out and make a video of them.
Yeah, I think
exercises with weapons. You don't fight. I have to always reiterate, because I'll see people trying to fight like my katas, and that's ridiculous. Yeah. It's only there. And they're not, some of them are mine, some of them are my teachers, and I just adapted them or changed them a little bit. But Paul Porter came up with most of my understanding of balance and was from a judo master, Paul Porter. So I give them a series of katas. If they master one, then I move them on to or get close enough, I'll move them on to the next one. Very few people understand the importance of these. And they get kind of good at it, and then they stop practicing. You have to be perfect with it. If you're going to be the best fighter you can, you have to understand your body and conquer your body first, not the other guy, you, your brain, your body. If you don't do that, you're pissing in the wind. You're making the struggle so much harder. And what are you really here for? Are you here to become a stronger human being, or are you here to beat somebody up for a few years? You can do both if you really conquer yourself first, right? Yeah. Understand you. So that's what I do. I give them a series of katas, and they start. In fact, I have a new guy, Alfonso. He's from Honduras, and he's been doing competition judo for 12 years.
Wow.
Well,
12 years.
He has a lot of. Do you want to translate, and then I'll go on?
Yeah. This katas you said you have prepared yourself. This katas you said you have prepared yourself.
Yeah.
Nice.
Or adopted from my teacher.
Okay. Paul Porter. Right. Ele falou que aprendeu bastante com o professor de judô e artes marciais dele, que é o Paul Porter, e ele desenvolveu uma série de 4 katas, basicamente, para o combate medieval. E aí, quando a pessoa está pronta nesses katas, que envolvem a questão do equilíbrio e do balanço e da postura, aí sim vai para vestir uma armadura. Não são katas para você usar como técnica de combate, mas são mais para te preparar exatamente como lutador e ter esse centro de gravidade e essa postura que vai te fazer não só lutar melhor, como estar bem dentro de uma armadura, que é essencial para você poder lutar e efetivamente se tornar uma pessoa mais forte, uma pessoa atlética e realmente conseguir bater em alguém no bom sentido, né? Quer dizer, bater em alguém no combate medieval. While we were talking, I think that Ferrari gave us the answer about method in strongman. So he's just answering you.
Excellent.
We have one more question, I think. This is the last question. Ernesto, tem mais alguma pergunta? Tem mais a última? Não, acabamos as perguntas. We finished questions.
Okay, if you want, I have the 7 rules for learning. If you're a new fighter or even you've been in it for a while, for my team, if you want to hear it.
Of course. Please share with us.
Okay, it'll take a few minutes.
Don't worry.
Okay. All right, here they are. So, number 1, control your ego. And now I'll let you translate each one.
Right. Ele vai falar as 7 regras que ele usa no time, né? Então a primeira é controle o seu ego. Number 1, clear.
Control your ego. Do not let it control you.
Não deixe o ego controlar você, né? Controle o seu ego.
You must master yourself, your body, and your mind if you wish to grow beyond what you think you know.
Você tem que ser o mestre de si mesmo, né? De seu corpo e de sua mente, se você quer ir além de onde você pretende chegar.
Okay. Number 2.
Okay. Number 2.
Patience. There is more to learn. Yeah, patience. There is more to learn than 10 lifetimes would allow for. So be patient and enjoy the ride. Don't rush. Learn it right the first time is the fastest way.
Tem mais coisa para aprender do que você vai aprender em 10 vidas. Então a paciência é importante para você aprender a primeira coisa, essencialmente, e aí seguir para as demais, sempre como se fossem a primeira.
It's funny because in a fighting community, everyone just wants to fight. You know, you're missing out on so much.
Yeah. You just want to skip and go fighting.
Okay, number 3. Be certain your worst enemy is not living between your ears. Okay?
Tenha certeza de que o seu principal inimigo não esteja vivendo nos seus próprios ouvidos, né? Não seja você mesmo.
Ignore the voice in your head that says you can't. It will grow louder, but pay it no attention, it will fade away.
Ignore essa voz que vem dizendo que você não pode fazer mais. Ela vai chegar a ser até mais alta, mas você vai continuar ignorando e vai superá-la com o seu treinamento. You're gonna overcome this voice with your training and consistency.
Right. Number 4, and this is so important. Do not fear failure.
Não tenha medo de errar.
The greatest people fail and fail and fail again. They learn from every... I'm sorry, go ahead.
As maiores pessoas falharam muitas vezes.
They learn from every effort, every victory, and every failure. Mm-hmm. Do not waste your precious energy tearing yourself down or using bravado to build yourself up.
Uhum. Essas pessoas aprendem com as vitórias, com cada experiência e também com cada derrota. Então, valorize cada momento de aprendizado e cada esforço que você fez, porque ele te ensina mais do que os resultados em si. I just said that the effort you're making and the learning you get from it sometimes is more important than the result you're having.
At the moment, yeah. Mm-hmm. True self-esteem comes from within.
A verdadeira autoestima vem de dentro.
You get it by never quitting.
Você chega nela nunca desistindo.
Being totally honest with yourself and
sendo totalmente honesto com você mesmo e
keeping your integrity no matter what the situation or consequences.
Mantendo sua integridade, não importa a situação ou as consequências, né?
Embrace failure as your best guide to learning.
Abrace as falhas, né, como a sua melhor guia de aprendizado.
Okay, number 5.
Número 5.
Excuses are useless.
Desculpas são inúteis.
Take them out of your speech and out of your mind entirely.
Tire-as totalmente do seu discurso e também da sua mente. Ou seja, desculpas não vão te levar a lugar algum.
Number 6. If you want to learn fast, go slow.
Se você quer aprender a ser rápido, né, vá devagar.
You can easily fool yourself into believing that you understand the mechanics or spirit of something by moving fast.
Você pode facilmente se enganar acreditando que vai aprender a mecânica e o movimento correto indo rapidamente. É um erro. Você vai enganar a si mesmo fazendo isso.
Train slow work. So what we do is everything, your weapon, your body, your feet, everything moves at the same pace, but slowly, and you match your opponent. And you can get an enormous amount of training out of this with no contact.
Treinar todo o movimento como um todo, desde o seu pé, do seu corpo, do seu centro de gravidade, do seu braço, da sua mão, tudo isso e devagar, compreendendo cada etapa desse movimento, vai ser a melhor forma de você atingir a perfeição desse movimento. E é isso que vai te levar a um movimento rápido.
Your body must not be fighting itself. If you cannot do it slow, you cannot do it at all.
O seu corpo não deve lutar contra si mesmo. Se você não consegue fazer devagar, você não consegue fazer.
Okay, number 7. Already
Number
here.
7.
Yep. Thinking about winning or losing is a pointless waste of your energy. There is only this fight.
Pensar em ganhar ou perder é um desperdício de energia. Só existe o agora e só existe essa luta, a próxima luta.
That's it. That's why I suggest for new fighters or anyone else.
Or anyone else, I think. I think for all of us. Jeff, I want to thank you so much. This chat was really nice, and you've been so kind and taught us many things. I hope people that heard you can learn from that. And it was not only a teaching for HMB, but a teaching for life and for anything that people want to do. If you were studying something academic, this is also true. You have to face hundreds of books, and you won't read it fast. You must understand what is written. So it works for anything you do in your life.
Absolutely.
And appreciate that very much.
Well, it was a great pleasure. I appreciate you and the Brazilian team. The best of luck to everybody, and I hope we meet soon in training or in Bohurt as it is. And I hope everyone in Brazil gets through this time as well as they can.
So we do. As I say, one of the most important things one can give to each other is time, because with time we can do anything. You could be doing anything right now, but you're talking to us and giving us your expertise, the things you've learned in your whole life. It's priceless. So thank you so much. Thank you so much.
It's a great pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. We're now saying goodbye, and I'm taking a few last words with our audience. So you're free to go, and bye-bye. Thank you so much. Enjoy your night. Enjoy your evening. É isso aí, galera. Foi uma das lives mais interessantes que vimos, porque teve um conteúdo muito legal, né? Um aprendizado muito bacana. E vamos então fazer aí os nossos sorteios. Eu só preciso acompanhar a lista de todo mundo que participou da live. Só um minutinho, peraí. Para a gente fazer. O que nós temos hoje, Ernesto? Escreve aqui para mim no chat do StreamYard, para eu lembrar o que nós temos hoje para sortear. Lembrando que vamos ter ainda uma live com o Igor Parfentev, que é um lutador da Ucrânia, que visitou o México, um cara fantástico, muito, muito legal. A live dele estava marcada para o comecinho agora de outubro, mas ele foi escalar nas montanhas. Por isso que eu perguntei pro Jeff o que ele foi fazer nas montanhas, que todo mundo da HMB quer ir para a floresta, para a montanha. É uma coisa que está no espírito mesmo da galera que participa disso. Deixa eu só ir conversando aqui com o nosso técnico Silverboy. Então, o que nós temos é 10% de desconto no Mercante Medieval hoje. Então, lembrando assim, nós temos para a live do Parfentev o cinto da Dark Medieval, que é um cinto para lutadores de HMB. Vou ver se a gente consegue mais um kit de reparo de armaduras com Leão e Lebre. Vou tentar, vou pedir lá, vou chavecar, vou chorar para eles. Temos o hidromel do Midwine, sim, a garrafa de hidromel, sim, ela, vamos sorteá-la na live com o Parfentev. Vamos anunciar a data em breve, porque assim que ele voltar dessa viagem que ele foi fazer para as montanhas na Turquia, né, o cara ucraniano, o Parfentev é uma figura sensacional. Acho que vai ser uma live assim como essa, cheia de conteúdo e muito aprendizado para todo mundo que está vendo. Mas hoje mesmo temos o sorteio do Mercante Medieval, e deixa eu só tá terminando a listinha das pessoas que assistiram. E 10% de desconto no Mercante Medieval vai para o Luiz Guilherme. Olha só, ele mesmo aí já participando com comentário. Põe um comentário dele de novo. Ótimas dicas, né? Muita coisa boa para aplicar. Sem dúvida, cara, foi uma live sensacional. Eu acho que uma das que a gente mais aprendeu e serve não só para iniciantes, eu acho que ele falou aí para todos, né? Foi muito legal. Eu acho que serve com certeza para todo praticante de HMB em vários lugares do mundo. Foi um aprendizado sensacional. Então, obrigado a vocês que compareceram, que puderam acompanhar. Logo a gente vai ter um episódio especial sobre ferreiros, que são... a gente juntou aí ferreiros falando sobre armaduras desde os Estados Unidos até o México, Argentina, Brasil. Vai ser muito legal. Vai ser um episódio editado que a gente vai lançar. E tô vendo também da gente entrevistar uma equipe feminina, que é o único clube só de mulheres do mundo de HMB, e é uma surpresa aí, vamos ver se a gente consegue fazer essa live também. E logo vamos ter uma live também contando um pouco da história do HMB no Brasil, que vai ser o início, o meio e o futuro do HMB no Brasil. Então vamos falar com personagens aí que estão desde o começo e os personagens que representam o futuro do esporte. Então, espero que a gente consiga fazer aí com vocês e estarmos juntos mais uma vez. Então acompanha aí o Portal Medieval. E se você gosta do nosso projeto, lembre de sempre de apoiar, seja um patrono de prata, apoiando a Espada de Prata a visitar as escolas, a ajudar aqueles atletas adolescentes que procuram praticar o esporte como uma forma de inclusão na sociedade. Então, tem esse projeto, e se você quer apoiar, quer ajudar a Espada de Prata a tornar esse sonho cada vez mais realidade, você pode apoiar no Apoia-se os patronos de prata. Tá bom? Um abraço aí, boa noite para todos e obrigado pela companhia. Um beijão.